Hello, this is Kim Llanos, and this is my topic presentation, Lollywood and Pop Culture in Pakistan. What do Pakistanis watch and listen to? This is such a fascinating subject. So, most people have heard the term Bollywood, which is India's lavishly produced film industry. It's a feast of color and dance and song that usually centers around a love story. But what is Lollywood? Simply put, Lollywood is the film industry in Pakistan, similar to, but not to be confused with their next door neighbor. Pakistan's homegrown cinema industry originated in the city of Lahore, Pakistan in 1929. The word Lollywood was first coined in the summer of 1989, though, in the magazine Glamour, produced in Karachi by a gossip columnist named Salim Nazir. Pakistan's Lollywood started out, much like India, producing movies on social issues with a little bit of song and dance and romance. But at some point, Lollywood diverged from the boy meets girl, boy gets girl, with a little singing and dancing and special moves and all that, kind of a movie that Bollywood is so famous for. We all know and understand about the rivalry between Pakistan and India, but what is lesser well known is that there was actually a joint venture between the countries, which came in the form of two leading media houses, Times of India and Jang Group, whose aim was to bring peace and develop cultural relations between Pakistan and India. The thought was that the celebrities of both countries would be able to work together to promote the intent of improving cultural relations. But the Indian government politicized the joint venture, which really lessened its whole goal of bringing peace in the region, and eventually the partnership was just abandoned. Lollywood's movies took on a more serious tone in the 1970s, which coincided with the Islamization and political power structures rising within Pakistan. In fact, Pakistan's film industry just about collapsed somewhere in between the 1980s and 1990s, and it wasn't until about 2008 when Musharraf's regime revived Lollywood, because he eased up on the censorship policies and lifted the ban on screening Indian Bollywood movies in Pakistan. Yay! Fast forward to February of this year, and the Indian Bollywood films have been officially banned from playing in Pakistani theaters in response to the Pulwama attacks. But that didn't and doesn't stop Pakistanis from watching them. The recent Bollywood film Gully Boy, which is a blockbuster sensation about the rags to riches story of struggling street rappers living in Mumbai who pursue their dreams and are eventually able to take control of their lives and their fortunes, captivated audiences worldwide, including those in Pakistan. Part of the reason that the film was received so well in Pakistan was the fact that Pakistani youth were able to really relate to the film's characters who struggled against the class divide in India. And for one Pakistani, 24-year-old Karachi-based artist and architect named Asad Kamran, Gully Boy had a lasting impact on the way he decided to take ownership of his own life. In the spirit of the Gully Boy spirit, Kamran decided to open Cinema 73 in his own neighborhood. What he wanted to do was make sure that films like Gully Boy could be enjoyed by his fellow Pakistanis, because he really felt that it perfectly encapsulated the feeling of disparity that existed not just between Pakistanis and Indians, but also between different economic sections of the society in both countries. These really are the kind of films that spur thought and conversation and perhaps even change. It surely inspired Asad to go after his own dream of owning a movie theater. He makes the point that Indian films are absolutely relatable. Our regions are so similar, and we come from the same land, but politics are so embedded that we can't see the message come through in cinema sometimes. He believes that these commonalities can lead to larger conversations on unity, camaraderie, and a better way of life for everyone. So Asad's Cinema 73 is truly a grassroots venture in that it is housed in his own converted garage. He says he was inspired by a mobile cinema that operated through Karachi, and his theater consists of a projector, Some garage walls painted black, and seating for about 35 to 40 people. It's open every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. and it is completely free of charge. He even throws in free popcorn. So what movies are Pakistanis watching? Well, along with movies produced in Pakistan, they are watching the same ones that are produced in India, apparently. So on to the music of Pakistan. Much like there are subgenres of pop music or rock and roll music, many of Pakistan's music genres are either or both religious, and they are either or ethnic in nature. Different regions have different sounding music. Just imagine how many subgenres of rock and roll there are depending on whether you live in California or Nebraska or New York or Seattle. It's very similar in Pakistan that way. Also, much like the progression of music that began in a religious in nature genre in other parts of the world, which gave way to the more popular secular music like country, rock and roll, and splinter subgenres like pop music, Pakistan's music has also evolved through the decades. Just as Pakistani cinema has been revolutionized, so has its music industry. Remember, it's the youth that really drive the music industry to innovate, and Pakistan is no different. In fact, the Pakistani music industry is not totally unlike that of the U.S., and it is really the youth that drive what is being listened to, the messages that are political in nature and otherwise. Did you know that 29% of Pakistan is between ages 15 and 29, and as much as 64% of those is below the age of 30? That's a lot of kids. It's a lot of youth. And much like many countries around the world, it is through music that the youth sing and shout and rap their messages to the world. They speak of social injustice, poverty, love of country, and the status quo. Two popular Pakistani brands, Topi Drama and Begurit Brigade, are making music that speak about issues that the youth of Pakistan care about, such as the terrorist attacks and target killing incidences against Pakistan's persecuted Shia community. This new breed of socially conscious musicians are teaching young Pakistanis to think about the system and question the establishment. In so doing, bands are really nudging youth to form opinions of their own and to be more proactive about pressing issues that need their urgent attention. Arafat Mazar, Topi Drama's guitarist speaking for the youth in Pakistan, makes the statement that all we care about is being authentic and being honest. Most of the time, this just happens to translate to an expression that is grounded in the socio-political realities of the country. Having said that, it is just that. An expression. He goes on to describe the more socially conscious Pakistani youth as being more attuned to how factors like politics, power trips, and intolerance influence their society. And he succinctly describes that the world of the Pakistani 17-year-old is no longer just wrapped up in typical teenage concerns. They have developed a wider social consciousness, which is being reflected in the music that Pakistani youth listen to and create. So do Pakistani youth listen to hip-hop and rap? You bet they do. In fact, the emergence of the youth-centric genre birthed decades ago in New York's Bronx borough actually had a profound influence on Pakistani youth. Although the origins of the U.S. brand of rap, which was largely centered around street performances and featured lyrics that addressed social ills and life in urban ghettos, that resonated with the masses of American youth, didn't really generate much traction in Pakistan as a whole in the beginning when it hit the global music charts back in the late 1980s, except for areas like Liari, Karachi, where rappers embraced the purely American style of music. Rappers there were influenced by the likes of Tupac Shakur and looked to their own experiences for lyrical inspiration. Rappers as young as 8 years old have something to say. And in the case of 8-year-old rapper Wagas Balak, who released a video under the moniker 1000 earlier in the summer of this year, they really have a unique perspective on Pakistani life. And what about other music genres? Well, Pakistan is listening to plenty of those too. The Pakistani music scene today is as diverse as it is anywhere in the world. There is music for everyone, old and young alike. The creative juices of indie artists in Pakistan are thriving, and their brand of music brings messages of hope and positivity. Artist-producers like Haniwa Aslam, who produced a song called Ma Ben Kadanga, is an anthem against patriarchy by the Pakistani girl band Garam Andy in 2008. 2008, that was just last year. And Rakeh Jamel, who is also an artist-producer, they both believe that the revival of the Pakistani cinema really helped to spur the innovation of the Pakistani local music scene, which allows for young musicians and bands to claim their space and have their voices heard within the innovation movement that is happening right now within the Pakistani industry music. Fortunately, in today's technology-driven culture, creating unique content can be done on a laptop with some software and an internet connection that allows you to upload music quickly and easily. And as we have witnessed in the 2013 general elections, where the youth took to social media to promote ideas and politics, Pakistani musicians also took advantage of social media to get their voices heard and their messages out to the world. The hope is that Pakistani's film and music industries will continue to innovate and thrive, and it's going to really be interesting to see what happens in the next few years. Thank you so much for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.